is a test of the emergency broadcast system.
This is only a test.
DJs and MC. This DJ, he gets down.
Listen to this jockey's introduction to
Two DJs and a mic with your host, DJ Mike.
Is that a timetable?
And DJ JP.
Well, get on it. It's your time.
Give me the mic.
Okay, guys, thank you for joining us for another installment of Two DJs and One Mic. I have myself, the soft-spoken one, and we have the nice guy on my right, on some of you left, DJ JP. How you doing, sir?
What's up, Mike?
Wow, that was so dry.
Yeah.
No, that was smooth.
Scott would not be proud of me. No energy, Scott. How you doing, Scott?
Hey, I am ready to party.
Oh, we're glad to have you on. We have the great Scott Faver, the great Scott Faver down in Scottsdale, hot Arizona.
Yeah. Hey, a good 110 and we're having a party.
Oh, boy. I hope it's not 110.
That took the breath out of me.
Yeah.
So how you doing today?
You know, minus this little guy, right? I'm
What
having a good time.
What happened?
You know, I'm so glad you asked because I never let the truth get in the way of a good story. I'd love to tell you that I was, surfing across the stage. I was roller skating into an audience. I was dancing. I was doing all this stuff, which, by the way, I do all those things. No, just fell down some stairs.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We were at PBX, MEX in Las Vegas for 5 days, did the whole show. And on the fifth day, when it was all over, I just went, whoop.
Wow, because I was about to say, we didn't see.
Did you fall off the stage or something?
That would have been much better. Let me tell you, that would have been the story. But in fact, I just slipped on some stairs. Nothing dramatic.
Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, man.
And I'm glad that you didn't see it happen. That you didn't see me fall because it was not graceful.
It was not graceful. So did you have to go to the hospital in Vegas and get it passed on?
I did. They took me to the emergency room and they gave me a splint. And then 2 weeks after that, I got the cast. And this Friday it comes off. And I've been partying every day. I'm still moving my gear. I'm still setting things up.
You still
doing what I do.
The Scott part. What'd you break? Your wrist or what'd you break?
Wrist. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Man.
Wow.
But at least you didn't have to get one all the way up to your elbow. I broke my thumb and they put one all the way up.
Oh
here.
my God.
That sucked.
That's you can't do anything.
Yeah, they didn't want you to move that tendon, so it was
Wow, that did suck.
Yeah, it did.
He was
Just for a break
he was
right
a one-arm
here.
bandit
Yeah.
for real.
But I was still on them turntables.
Yeah.
Hey, look at you. See?
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe we're old school, but I got to tell you, the show must go on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I never understand DJs. I get them almost every weekend. Somebody calls and says, "My DJ didn't show." Oh, really? Would you do the event for the same price he did? And it's like, sure. Pay me the same thing you paid him, and I won't show up either.
Wow, I like that, Scott. I'm about to use that in the future. I like that one. Wow.
I didn't see that coming,
I
Scott.
didn't either. Well, if you know him, you
known.
know how he comes. He's
Yeah.
always gonna shoot you if he take it with you.
Yeah.
Get the shot in. But no, Scott is one of the happiest people in the world. Always happy, always just full of energy. I don't think I've ever seen. I bet you were smiling when you broke your arm.
I sure did. I sure did.
Wow.
Because sure enough, I just looked at it and went, "Oh, I know what that is,"
Oh,
because I have broke it before.
That's gotta suck. What's up, Keith? What's up, Damien? How y'all doing? Welcome into the show. But
Damien said he DJed for 2 months with one arm after rotating.
ooh,
cups.
Look at that.
Word.
Yeah, that's painful.
Yep. Well, let's get it on. Let's get this show on and find out about Scott.
Yeah. So Scott, first and foremost, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, the answer is yes. Thanks for asking. Can we move on?
Okay.
I've got a funny story for what it's worth, and I may have told it before, so stop me if you've heard this one. But everybody is complaining about these young DJs,
Mm,
and I got to tell you, I did not go to my first convention until I was 40.
Hmm.
wow.
So you know, sometimes it just takes a little time for the light bulb to turn on. Or
Yeah.
DJs they don't quite get it because they're too busy in the club. And believe me, I was busy in the club. I
Mm,
wasn't getting busy in the club, but I was busy as a DJ in the
Mm.
club. And so I thought, well, what do I have to go to a convention for? What can they teach me or show me that I don't already know? And that might probably sounds familiar, but
Yeah.
Mobile Beat, 2001, 2002. I went up to Mike Bonacorsa, who was the show producer at the time. And I said, great show. I really enjoyed it. But I think you could benefit from a game master presentation.
Mm.
And he said, what's that? I said, well, it's a DJ showing people how to play games and interact with the audience so that you can, raise the level of the performance and the entertainment value. And he scratched his head and he said, well, how about if we get 5 or 6 DJs and they'll all share a game or two and we'll do a panel discussion? So I smiled and said, okay, sure, that works for me. So the year rolls around and I show up at the convention and I say, I'm ready. Who are the other DJs and what order are we going to do this? And he looks at me and he says, it's just you.
Wow.
And you have to fill the hour because you got to make sure they don't leave the room for the next speaker.
That's kind of tough to throw on somebody. But I'm sure that wasn't your first time speaking, though, right?
That was my first time speaking in front of my peers. Not my first time speaking, but I came prepared, and it's such a good lesson. In the old days, if you did a 4-hour event, you came with 30 hours worth of music,
mm,
Mm.
right? Or if you knew that you were going to perform, for a certain amount of time, you didn't just have enough for that period, but that you had enough, whether it was games or music or activities, that you could engage the audience and then be able to pick and choose which ones work, as opposed to, well, this is all I have, so you're stuck with it.
Wow.
And it doesn't matter that you've seen my show 6 times, so you're going to get the same joke twice.
mm.
Mm. Wow. The Game Master. There he is. That's where he was born. 2001, 2002.
But he said something that really resonated with me. You said you were 40 before you went to your first show, and how, which we are all, talking about the younger generation, how we get them there and so forth. And, you just saying that really clicked in my head. You know, at our age, that we're trying to get them to come, could someone get us to come? And what would it have taken for us then to come versus now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was food for thought. All right. So now we're going to ask the real questions.
So, Scott, what inspired you to start Event Ensemble, and how has it impacted the DJ community?
Wow. You feed me that great question. For those who may not know, I used to be in Los Angeles, and we packed up the truck and the wife and the kids, and we moved to Arizona. And it's literally like starting your business all over again because you've got a reputation, a name for yourself, and an audience and repeat clients, and they're all where 500-600 miles away
Yeah.
in LA, and nobody knows me. So I do the usual thing. I'm networking. I join NACE and BNI, which is Business Network International, a couple of other networking groups. I do my shtick, and boy, I'll tell you, I got a really rude awakening from a NACE event. I had joined the group, paid my dues, volunteered multiple times for my DJ services for their events, and I'm chatting with these 3 venue owners, and they look at me and they say, Scott, we just want you to know we would never refer you.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I
Wow.
said, excuse me? They said, well, you're a great guy and you're really friendly and you're very talented, but we never refer anyone that hasn't actually performed at a paying event at our property.
Wow.
And it was at that moment that I discovered You know, you can network with people without having to actually hire them. And there are things that they can do within their business acumen that lets you know that they know what they're talking about, that they're responsible, they're reliable, that they're professional, and then you can refer them with confidence. And so I started Event Ensemble.
Mm.
At its
Okay.
peak, before COVID, what I call BC, before COVID, we had over 1,200 members.
So what is explain it? What is it? How did it work?
Ah, okay. So if you're from, I saw you nodding your head when I said BNI, and I'm not a BNI basher, so just
No, it's
just so you
okay.
know.
I'm
Um,
not either.
okay, good. They actually, if you wanted to learn how to network, that's the place. Those people, they are really smart. They got it dialed in, but they also have some problems. You see, they only have one DJ, one caterer, one photographer, if you will. And by the way, they don't have any of those. They have one DJ, and it's you. And then they've got an insurance broker and a realtor and an attorney and a handyman. And those people are all nice. They're all in business, and you can find them at the local chamber of commerce. But how often are they going to refer us as event professionals? I mean, they're only going to get married once or twice, maybe, right?
Mm.
So the idea here is that there's not a lot of referral going on. And by the way, if you happen to be a caterer and you sell tacos, that's great. But my client who needs a referral to a caterer wants chicken or beef or pizza, and that's not tacos. But in the BNI model, there's only the one.
Yeah.
So it's problematic. Or maybe it's only the one and they're booked on your date.
Mm.
Now what are you going to do? So I determined right then that we were going to be just for event professionals. So the realtor and the insurance broker and the handyman and all those other people, thank you very much, but that's not this group. And we're multiple. So we have lots of DJs, lots of caterers, lots of venues, lots of everything, as long as you can prove to me that it's event related. Now, the guy who sells AstroTurf, he really wanted to join my group. I couldn't get there. He said it's the first thing you walk on when you go into the backyard. I said, no, that's not quite what we're looking for.
No.
It's got to be, event related.
Yeah. I can relate it for you, but I won't. Ceremony areas, a lot of them are doing AstroTurf, so that chairs don't sink in the mud if it's wet or something. So he could be relatable, but back then he might have not been as important. But I see so many venues with their ceremony area and AstroTurf. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think he's convinced, but okay.
Yeah, I'm listening to
He
him.
know I'm
I'm
telling
just
the
thinking
truth,
about
though.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
he may not,
No,
but it's true.
but no, I get it. I'm just, as you're saying it, I'm just thinking about that time and this time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Today you could go probably every venue you go to.
And
If they don't,
then
yeah.
where he's located versus,
Well, it's even worse out there.
you
Yeah.
think?
Oh, definitely. It's probably more AstroTurf and rock gardens than it is
That's
grass.
right. That's right. Hey, you got my neighborhood. Good for you.
I've been out there a
Hey,
few
I know
times. It
you're a
is
traveling
hot,
man. Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
and grass is not friendly to that area.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
that's
But all right, keep
That's
it going.
far.
Go ahead. Come on, get.
Before you get
So-
to your next question, I want to just expand upon this idea of having multiple DJs, multiple photographers.
Okay.
Because the craziest thing is you'll find photographers who say, how many photographers are in the group? And when I tell them that there's 20, they're like, oh, there's too many. I don't want to join that group. And they're missing the message because the photographers actually refer to the other photographers more than anybody else in the group. They refer to each other. And the
Man, you are
DJs, they do the
saying
same
some
thing.
stuff here.
And the
Scott,
caterers do the same thing.
Yeah.
So to have many is the magic. It's not the minus.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point right there. You're right. Yeah, because a lot of times, how many DJs are there? How many this? Well, I don't. But you don't realize that you can start a tree of referrals if again, as long as you do quality of work and they can trust your work and all of that stuff. But yeah, that's really good. I have to remember that when I talk to anybody who tries to downplay joining a network.
Yeah, because that's a great point.
Yeah.
So, what inspired you to do a newsletter? And how has the response been from your subscribers?
Wow. You know, you did your homework. I got to
Yes,
tell you.
sir.
So I'm really flattered. Thank you. Um, I'm the old guy in the room. You guys, you're mature, but I'm the old guy in the room because I'm going to take you back. Um, Ryan Berger had this bulletin board called Pro DJ. This
Mm,
was before Facebook. And in the bulletin board, they had different meeting rooms. And one of them was the game room, and that's was where I excelled. And I had posted and created links and a whole index for all kinds of games, literally hundreds. And so whenever anybody said, I need a game for, and then I would just share the link, and there's all the school games, or here's all the mitzvah games, that kind of thing. It was ready made for them. And then he upgraded the software, and all those hundreds of links disappeared.
wow.
Oh no.
So that was the motivation, the impetus, if you will, there's a good word,
Mm,
for starting my own newsletter. And by the way, it was a great learning lesson for everybody that's on social media. If you are connected with people on Insta or Facebook or LinkedIn, that's great, and you should do that. But you don't have a personal connection with them the way you do with a newsletter. Because the newsletter is in their inbox. It is a place where you can give them a personal message. And when I say personal message, let me help you out. I don't actually do newsletters.
mm.
I do emails that are strategically written so that when you receive it, Mike, you think this was written just for you.
Oh yeah.
Talks about your name, your company, your wife's name, the city you live in, how many kids you have, where you shop. I mean, all of those things, because those are the not only the demographics but the psychographics that I collect from within my CRM, so that I'm not sending everything to everyone, but when somebody gets something, it looks like Scott wrote this for me. He's truly thinking about me, and
I
that's the connection I'm
can
talking about.
attest to that because I have received one also.
Oh, me too. And I was like, man, this is nice.
Yeah.
That's what Scott is on top of his game.
Yeah. He knows more about me than I know about myself.
Yeah, I said, oh, wow.
I can't tell you how many times a guy, will respond to my happy anniversary message and say, "It's a damn good thing you told me because I totally forgot."
Yeah, we probably all might be guilty of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Jeffrey.
All right. What networking mistakes do DJs make, and how can they maximize their connections? I know you just told us one, but give us a couple more that could help some of the DJs out there.
Networking is not selling.
Mm. Please
If
continue.
you're if you think that you're going to join a networking group or a business organization, and all you want to do is sell your services to that group, it's going to be a long haul, and it's going to be a short sale, and it's not going to be much. Here's where I'm coming from. If there's 5 people in the room, then that means 5 sales. But if you build a relationship and a rapport and a connection with each of those 5 people who know 50 to 100 other individuals, now how many referrals and how many events are there?
5 times 100. Yeah, that's 2,500.
Yeah.
Instead
And
of
yet so often people, when they go to a networking event, here's my card, and I'm a great DJ, and this is what I do, and you should hire me, blah, 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 blah. It's like, everybody's favorite topic is them.
You
So
know,
talk about them.
when you say that, it makes me think about a statement that I heard some years back that no one likes to be sold.
Yes, but some people like to buy.
Nobody wants to be sold, but they want to buy. I got
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Wow.
So you'll appreciate this. I have this rhyme because I'm old man dad joke, big on the rhymes. Get your audience to laugh, cry, and sigh, and then they will always buy.
Laugh, cry, and sigh. They will always buy. I like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know,
So
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well,
We're
I was
listening.
just, within your event, within your business, within your networking, you want to connect with the audience. Listen, any DJ can fill the dance floor. Any DJ can play everybody's favorite tunes. What are you going to do that's going
Mm,
to allow them to say, "Oh my God, I've never seen that before"?
mm.
I did this wedding here in Arizona, and I'm outside in the forest, and I'm setting up my big 9 feet by 13 feet video screen. It's rear projection. It's a big deal. And thank you, Ben Stowe, who hooked me up from FX.
Yes, Ben.
Thank you. I'm setting up this screen, and the wedding coordinator comes over and she looks at me. She looks at the screen and she says, "What is that for?" And I say, "Oh, it's really cool. We're going to take pictures of the ceremony and we're going to put them on the screen." And she rolls her eyes and says, "So what?" and walks away.
Oh wow.
Later during the evening, right? They're dancing on the dance floor, and I have a live video camera that's pointed on the dance floor so they can see themselves dancing. So whether they're doing the Cupid shuffle or they're just shaking the booty, their tail feather, they get to see themselves. I'm like, "Oh, look, that's us. Look, how cool is that?" And she looks at the screen, she looks at them dancing, and she shakes her head and just, whatever, and walks away. At the end of the night, when it's all over, and I'm saying, "Congratulations to our wonderful couple. This is a reminder why we're here." And I roll 30 seconds of their wedding ceremony as a video where they're saying, "I do," and "I love you." And she comes over and says, "Damn, I've never seen that before."
All right, I like that. They got to say, "I've never seen that before." I like that.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a quick turnaround. You
Yes.
had time to get all of that done back there.
Wow.
It,
So
it is, everybody's better and everybody's best. I can't deal with that because I don't know what better or best means, but I do know what different is.
Hmm.
I do know what different is. And I know that I can sell that difference to my audience, to my clients,
mm,
because they don't want their wedding. A couple says, "We saw you at Bob and Jane's wedding. Would you do that same thing?" It's like, "Sure, if you want your wedding to look like Bob and Jane's wedding. Why don't we talk about you
Wow.
and how we can create something that's uniquely yours?"
mm.
Different.
I love that.
Thank you.
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the trends that you see that are shaping 2025 in the industry?
Okay. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a trend as much as I would say it's a really good reminder for DJs, whether you're 20, 30, 50, 70, it doesn't matter. The music of their life is typically based around the 10 years between high school and the end of college. Most people, except for DJs, most stop listening to music after that 10-year period. I mean, they'll know, the popular stuff that, hits the radio and that kind of thing. But for the most part, they want to hear the music of the soundtrack of their life.
Mm,
So if you're not comfortable with the current music, like for, youth events, school dances, guess what? That's the same music that's going to be around in the next 10 years for weddings.
wow. Yeah. All facts.
Okay.
That's one
I
of the
did.
better ways I've ever heard it put. That
Yeah.
people want that 10 years and it's a
Mhm.
soundtrack of their life. Yeah, I like that.
And it's, when you
Um,
think about it, it's true.
yeah.
It's true. Very accurate. Hmm. Wow.
Other trends, I could be sounding like Randy Bartlett or Peter Mary, a couple of my mentors who I admire most. But
Hmm.
I have to tell you, it's not that people don't want a game or that they don't want entertainment. They just don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want it to be poorly performed.
Mm.
So if you're going to play a game, and if that word is not connecting with your audience, call it a point of entertainment, call it a surprise, something that engages them or their audience, and let them know that they don't need to be the center of that point. You know,
Wow.
again, you want to be different. Now, if your client doesn't want a different wedding, if they want to look like everybody else's, then just go ahead and keep playing. Oh, you know what? Trend. I saw my friend. He just posted that "Sweet Caroline" has been banned from DJ playlists.
Wow, says who?
What DJ?
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
Here's the rest of the story. 20 years ago, I was chatting with Sean Big Daddy,
Mhm.
and I told him that I never play Sweet Caroline. And he looked at me like I was a Martian with three heads. He said, "What?" I said, "Well, I don't play that." And by the way, I don't play Journey, Don't Stop Believing either.
Wow,
Because
it's hard to believe that East Coast.
every DJ plays those songs.
Yeah, most of us.
Yeah, now, I use those as examples. You know, you could say "Happy" by Pharrell, "Yeah" by Usher, "Low" by Florida. You know, there are lots of them, or even the Cupid Shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? The Cupid Shuffle's 20 years old, people.
Yeah, it's
It's seasoned.
time is flying. Yeah,
Yes, it's seasoned.
yeah,
It's that's good. It's seasoned. I like that.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But again, it's the
Mhm.
soundtrack of somebody's life. And
Oh
as
Yeah.
long
yeah,
as you know who's in front of you, then you want to stay in their zone.
Yeah,
that's the key to that, knowing who's in front of you.
yeah. And as the game master, what's the most powerful way DJs can use games to elevate their events?
You know it's serious when I take off my glasses because it means I'm not looking at the four monitors in my room and I'm focused right on you folks.
Okay.
The answer to that question is don't. Don't play a game if you don't know what you're doing. Don't play a game if you don't know how to do it. And don't play a game if you don't know how to start or stop, or even more important than stop, segue. You know, we mix. We're DJs, right? Wiki, wiki, wiki. So we're going to go from this song to that song to the next song, and the rhythm and the mood and the tempo and everything is right there, and they're in the groove and they're on the dance floor and they're having a great time. That's what you want to do when you perform a point of entertainment. You want it to seamlessly move from point A to point B and have a segue or a mix that takes you to the next moment. So before they look up, they don't even know what happened.
So don't
It's
do it if you don't know what you're doing. Don't do it if you don't know where you're going, how to start it, and how to finish it. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because a lot of times we'll try to do stuff, even as simple as the shoe game, which we got told last week, it's the marriage game, can be, something different. It can be great if you do it the right way. Do a little research, find out stuff about your couple, and ask them things that, not just the typical questions that we ask. Yeah. So
you know, if you're going to play the shoe game, do it differently.
yeah, do it
So
different. Oh, I
we
am.
use the big video screen. So all the questions are on the screen,
Uh-huh.
and it's branded. It's got a picture of the couple that they just got married. They're in their wedding garb for all the questions. So it's very personalized to them. Okay. And by the way, if you do corporate events and the raffle, right, and the ticket number is 3692, and you got to turn on the lights and you got to stop the dancing, here's the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Use your big video screen and put the ticket number as they're calling it out on the screen. So now they're not asking you to repeat it 16 times. It's right there. You say it once, it's on the screen. Boom.
We can all laugh at that one. You're right. 987632.
See?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Last
you're
one.
waiting for them. You're waiting for them. And they
Yeah.
got to turn on the lights so they can see their ticket. Okay. Or how about the raffle dance? We got a raffle. We're giving away TVs. We're giving away prizes. And you have to be on the dance floor dancing when we call your number. If you're sitting down, you can't win it.
Oh wow, that's a good one. I like that. I'm gonna have to try that one at a corporate event, especially. That would be a good one. That'll really get your dance floor packed. We're giving away this 75-inch TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dance for the TV.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
That's a good one. See, the game master, he's giving us stuff right here for free.
Live.
Yeah, we don't even have to go to his 8:00 class in the morning.
Oh, okay. See, now you mentioned the 8 o'clock. You know what? I got to tell you something. The reason I do breakfast and not lunch, or I do breakfast with the game master and not dinner, and don't be offended, DJs, please.
Okay.
But I do that purposefully. And my networking group meets in the morning purposefully because serious people are the ones who show up.
Oh man, I slightly feel bad here.
Hey,
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
they say hit dogs will holler.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I like, but I remember that too because that's why I always have my meetings on Saturday mornings.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I know we kind of touched on this, Scott, but how can DJs build strong relationships with venues and vendors for more referrals? I know we looked at it from a networking standpoint, but how can we do that?
Be exceptionally great at what you do. You know, I mentioned about better, best, and different, but when it comes to venues, they're looking for someone who not only does their job well, but is also easy to work with, who cleans up and leaves on time, arrives early. You know, it's not just a lot of the things that we take for granted. Well, we filled the dance floor. Yeah, that's fine. But the venue has different other qualifiers for who they're going to refer. And if you happen to be in a pay for play place, then it's a little more complicated. And if you're willing to pay to play, go ahead. I did an event in California because I still work there in November. I've never been to this property before. It's a major property. She's referred me 3 times since. Didn't ask to put me on her vendor list. Didn't nothing. But because of what I brought to the party, and because of the performance that we provided,
Value.
yes. So when you're looking to connect with your vendors and your venues, don't become a bill collector. In other words, I gave you 2 and I gave you 3. Now where are my 5? Just pass based on the quality of the service and the need of the person asking. You know, I got a lot of DJs that say, so I'm going to give you this client's name. Can you, throw me $100 or $200 or whatever? It's like, no, sorry. You know, you can go pass that to somebody else. It's not the way I roll. Now, if you knew in fact that I was the perfect match for this client, why would you not refer me? Or why would I not refer you? And it's another thing. If I'm going to refer somebody, let's say they need a photographer, it would be easy for me to say, here's 3 cards or here's 3 numbers. You know, these photographers might be available. And now what I've done for my client is I've given them homework. I don't give them homework. I want to do the work for them. I want to build my value for them. So I'm going to call the photographer and find out if they're available first. How frustrated would your client be if she said, oh, I love this photographer, but they're not available on my date? See? And then you've got egg on your face because you didn't do your homework.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not complicated because now you're building a rapport with the vendor. And by the way, sit down with them. You know, a lot of times, you know, B and I, they do a one-on-one, a one-to-one, whatever they call this thing, a coffee, you know, meet and greet. So often people will sit there for an hour and all they do is they talk about themselves. And then they stand up and walk away and say, by the way, what do you do? But you have to do those things because if you don't know who they are and what they do, how can you refer them?
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and by the way, the photographer, when my client says she wants a photographer, I don't just say, okay, here's 3. What are you looking for? Do you want color, film, black and white, sepia? Are you looking for photojournalistic, in the moment, pose? Do you want the backdrop? I mean, there's 1,000 questions to ask. And they're like, Well, I hadn't even thought about all that. But not all of your photographers offer all those features. So now the one that you prefer is not free, but you say, based on what you just described, Tony's the one you want to call.
Man,
How powerful is that?
Very.
And how excited is Tony that you didn't just send him a dud? Because you sent him somebody who's looking exactly for what he does.
Yes, you just qualified the lead for it.
Yeah. And all he has to do is close the sale.
But let me jump in here. You said qualify the lead. I love that. I do. And yet I can't, for the life of me, I can't fathom when I pass the referral to the photographer and they say, should I call them? What? Hello? I've just given this to you on a platter. They're exactly, your client. What do you mean should you call them? You should be sitting on their porch knocking on their door.
The cake is baked. All you got to do is cut it.
Oh,
right.
Gosh. That's a good one. Yeah.
But by the way,
sometimes
I say call.
Yeah.
I say call loosely. There's this show that I watched. It's NCIS Sydney.
Okay.
Hysterical. They've got this young person in the morgue. She's like the tech person, and she has to phone call somebody. And she is just falling apart because she cannot bring herself to pick up the phone and have a conversation with somebody on the phone.
Wow.
As business owners, we always say we want somebody, can we call you? It'd be so much easier than 16 text messages. But the truth is, they don't like to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
And we need to recognize that.
You again, you're
right.
You're so right in that. And sometime the moment that you mention a phone call, everything goes away.
Yeah.
It goes away.
Wow.
There's your ghost.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so deep, so much. Yeah, that's good. What is one of the lessons from PBX MEX Hall of Fame awards that all DJs should know?
Oh, man. Lesson for me, because I've hosted this thing 3 years now in a row. And each year it gets a little bit better. But, man, I can't do it all. I need an extra tech person or an extra person that's going to manage the other stuff because I'm running on stage, off stage, and back behind stage, and
blowing your pants off, all kind of stuff.
So you saw that, did you?
Yes, I did. I did.
I don't know how famous Casey's moment is where he interviewed somebody in shorts, but for us old timers, we remember it, and it was scandalous. So I was here to honor KC.
That's KC though. He's gonna always do something to garner a little attention.
Oh yeah, see.
But I'll tell you, for all the Hall of Famers who have received this notoriety, get involved in the process because that's how it gets better.
Yeah, I like that. Get involved in
the photo booth people. The photo booth people, they were unhappy because the DJs were more prepared. If the DJs weren't more prepared, the DJs are DJs. They're MCs. They know how to talk. That's why they're prepared. Photo booth people are not prepared because they're not in front of the mic.
Yeah, we're spontaneous. Now, how would you're going to get an award and not think that you may have to say something or answer a question or say thank you? Why would we not think that?
Well, again, you're thinking like a DJ.
I'm thinking like an award.
That's disparaging.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, some of these people don't even act like they want to say thank you for getting the award.
They act like they just found out 5 minutes ago.
Hey, I'm coming up here to get this award. So I'm like, wow, really? So
they didn't tell me I was going to have to speak.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, a lot of people said they didn't find out until they got on stage, which was not true because I would have anticipated that I'm gonna need to say
when
at
you're
least,
getting an award.
I'd like to thank all the people back
Mom
home,
and dad,
and thank God.
Charlie, my cat.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so it was funny, but yeah, you're right. We're a little bit more prepared because we're already thinking about what we're gonna say.
While we're talking about PBX and MEX, and by the way, it is pronounced MEX. not Mex. It's not Mexico. Um, it sounds like you saw that video. So there you go.
No, I just think about that all the time when people.
Oh, you do. Well,
Yes.
as critical as I am that he changed the name. I mean, it was Mobile Beat. Why? I mean, that was the name, and he bought the name. Why would he change it? I have no idea. But what I can tell you is he's not unlike many people. I know a DJ. Actually, I know two DJs that sold their business for a profit, and both of the companies that bought their DJ business were out of business 6 months later.
Wow.
They changed the name of the business. They changed the business model. They didn't follow what made the business successful. And by the way, there are plenty of examples outside of our industry. You remember Kinko's and
Yeah.
FedEx? And FedEx Kinko's, right? And now it's just FedEx. Kinko's is gone.
Man,
So
they're so
these things
gone.
happen.
I forgot about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But back to MEX, it's a great show with great potential, and every show should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great show with great potential. You know, for the first couple of years, I was trying to coach Rob, who's the show producer, that he should blend the education hall between the photo booth and the DJs. But I've discovered that would be a real mistake. You guys were there, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm listening to this. I want to hear this.
If you walked into the showroom floor, the exhibit floor, and you walked in on the photo booth side, it's bright and it's cheery and it's festive. It's not too loud. Everybody's laughing and they're all having a good time. And as you walk across the floor and you get closer and closer to the DJ section, it gets dark and loud and foggy and smoky and angry and just, I mean, it was like night and day. Hey, I'm a DJ, so don't get me wrong, but I'm telling you, just they're oil and water, different type of business owners for photo booths than DJs.
Wow. There's so many takes on that, though. I mean, that's a good take too. I mean, I'm just listening. I'm processing what you're saying, and I'm processing.
Likewise.
And are you saying we need to change it and be
No.
What you saying?
I'm not saying okay. The shows are married together because they both happen at the same time, but the audience who attends the show are very different. Here's another really big example of difference.
Okay.
The photo booth show has maybe 7,000 people that are photo boothers, right? Over half of them do not own a photo booth yet. They have $20,000, $30,000 in their pocket, and they are at the show to buy their first photo booth. I am not exaggerating.
You're definitely
Most
not.
DJs don't know this because we don't operate that way.
No, we don't. We buy it and ask what we learn later.
Right.
Wow. I mean, but we did about maybe 15, 20 interviews, and we talked to so many I'm going to call them boothers.
Yeah.
Boothers that were there, that were starting their business, hadn't bought a photo booth or nothing yet, but they wanted to see stuff, put their hands on it, learn about it, and learn the business side of it before they ever bought anything. And I thought that was just, I kind of like the mesh a little bit for the different kind of how they operate versus how we operate. Yeah. So, yeah.
But there is a Venn diagram. There is the crossover between the two, and we can coexist together. But the show needs to take those differences into account. I'm the entertainer guy, so I like for it to be bright and festive and entertaining and engaging and loud and fun. But I got to tell you, the number one speaker at the photo booth floor was quiet and slow, easy spoken. And here's how I know he was so popular. When he walked off the stage, 50 people followed him outside with their questions. Wow. And I was falling asleep.
Who was that?
I'm not going to tell you that.
I'm trying to think because I'm usually up on. I want to hear everybody that's breaking new ground and doing things like that. But wow, 50 people follow. I mean, you have you're in the you're not in the DJ room. You were in the photo booth. Are you
Right.
are you a boother too?
You know what? I always laugh about this. I've hosted the Photo Booth Expo for 9 years. I don't own a photo booth.
Do they make you not want to buy one, or you just
No. I'm a DJ. I'm an entertainer, and that's my focus. I just got a call. Somebody wanted to headhunt me to run not a wedding show, but something like that, because they'd seen me at Las Vegas, and they said, "Would you do this for this other kind of convention?" I said, "No, thank you."
wow, true to the game, true to the
Yes,
DJ
thank you.
game.
I will take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, no, but that's good. I mean, a lot of us would have jumped on the opportunity to go get the money.
Yeah.
But then it could have been something that you weren't passionate about, and they wouldn't have got the same Scott that we get every time we see Scott in Vegas.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. All good points.
Because you make me tired sometimes.
Oh, that reminds me.
God has so much energy. I'm like, can this guy just slow down for 30 seconds?
The bunny will not stop.
But I love it, man, and it's
Thank
great
you.
entertainment. You bring a room up,
It's
everybody could
inspirational.
everybody could be about to go to sleep, but you got hey, y'all better wake up. You in my room. So even when you do Wedding MBA, the room is always still hot and fired every time I've seen you there. So yeah, I love
Thank
what you
you.
do, man. I say if I had half that energy, brother, I'd be dangerous.
I always laugh when I share a game or an idea, and the DJ say, "Man, that is great," but I don't want to work that hard.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you just said a mouthful right there. You're right. You can throw out a great idea, great game, and then that seems like too much work. I'm not even going to try to do that. But it's probably not much. It's just a little research and maybe a little bit of, just a little bit of strategy. And it's not as hard as we probably think it is. We just make it hard because we don't want to do nothing extra.
You know what it goes to?
What?
It's what me and you talk about all the time, and you always hear me say that. It's change.
Yeah.
People don't like to change.
Yeah.
They don't like to be changed, and that's requiring them to be changed. So they don't like it.
Wow.
You talk about change. I had a corporate client who wanted to hire me, and they did. And part of the process was that they wanted me to create a signature game just for this specific event. But wait, they wanted 10 games to choose from, and then they would pick one of the 10 games as their signature event. And they did. They had a great time. They hired me again. And when I sat down with them again, they said the same thing. We want 10 games, and we'll pick one, and they cannot be any of the first 10 that you showed us.
Oh, my gosh.
I did that for them
the homework
4
was
years in a
intense.
row.
So, wow.
That is intense.
That seemed like a lot of work right there. But
But that was the work that now I have in my toolbox, all these games that I can share when needed for any other event.
So if you could, how many games do you think you have in your toolbox?
It's as big as the house.
Wow. I believe it too, because we'll be in a room or he'll be somewhere, and I don't think I've ever heard you tell the same one twice or throw something out like at a wedding MBA or in the photo booth room hall when you're doing that. So he has a plethora of games.
So are you still
another big
creating
word.
games?
I'm sorry?
Are you still creating games?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't always call them games.
Okay.
Sometimes they're activities. Sometimes they're interactions or points of entertainment, because the game word goes in and out of style.
Okay.
All right.
I can.
So
Here's another interesting thing. I'm doing a corporate event on Monday, and they want trivia, and they're unhappy that the trivia is not on their phone. It's like, come on, people. I'm an entertainer. You hired me to entertain your guests. We can play trivia without the phone. Get your face out of that device, and let's get it on the rest of the people in the room. And let's talk. Let's engage. Let's interact. The experience is going to be way more fulfilling than just I answer some questions with my device.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all stuck in the computer age.
Bring them out, Scott.
Yeah. Bring them out.
You
Make
know,
them.
release them.
Yeah, let them.
So, Scott, what, in your opinion, are some tips that DJs can get from you to improve on their hosting skills?
Books, podcasts, conventions, um, Toastmasters, comedy class, acting class, and best of all, get a business coach. Business coach does not need to be in your industry. If
Hmm.
they're in your industry, then they only see from that perspective,
Mm.
and you'll miss out.
Wow,
Don't
that's
go the same way home every day.
yeah.
Don't eat the same thing. Don't drive the same way. Don't walk the same way. Whatever it is, take a different path because you'll see things you didn't see before.
Mm.
Yeah, I like that. Oh man, but that's kind of deep. You kind of want somebody that can help you and advise you. But I mean, I guess you're right. Maybe they'll see stuff or think about things we've never thought about as far as business people before.
Well, I like that. I can agree to that
I,
because
I'm not against it, but
yeah,
I'm just,
but,
I want to learn from $1 million DJ, not from,
but when you look at it, sometimes the things that are required need to be outside the box, and sometimes you know you're looking at it from a limited standpoint versus somebody else that has nothing to do with that may have a perfect suggestion that might change your whole business model.
Hmm. It's not that you don't. Tiger Woods, at the peak of his performance, had at least 6 different coaches for
yeah,
different aspects in his game. So when I say business coach, keep in mind that it doesn't have to just be one person or one source. Um, do more than gaze, see. Do more than listen, hear. Do more than taste, savor. And do more than survive, thrive. It's a great time to be alive.
Love
there he
it.
goes rhyming again.
I love it. I
Choo
love it.
choo, man.
We got rappers delight in the house.
Now that shows you how old I am.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
We're all close to that train, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's what's one of your most must-have tools that DJs want to have if they want to scale their business?
Ooh. Must have a CRM, client relation management tool. I don't care which one it is. I don't care if it's DJ Manager. I don't care if it's DJ Event Planner. I don't care if it's Honeybook. What's most important is that you have some tool that allows you to stay connected with your audience. Um, I have been using different CRMs for the entire time I was in business. Started with a typewriter, then went to a smart typewriter that typed on its own, and then jumped into a computer
Yeah,
and moved on from there.
it's
But
got to be going
the
way
the
back.
CRM keeps you connected. I currently manage a small list of about 35,000 clients.
So what is something that it does? I mean, besides just manage your clients, do you have a lot of automation now,
It's
or is
all
it?
automated.
Yeah,
See, a problem with some of these is, let's say that you decide that you want to send an anniversary message. Well, then you got to send this one. And then you want to send a birthday message. Then you got to send that one. Then you want to send I was thinking of you message, and you got to send that one. So you got to send them each one at a time. The tool that I use, you just put them in a list, and then it goes through automatically. And it says, if it's so and so's birthday, send them this birthday message. If it's their anniversary, send them the anniversary message. And if it's not, skip them and move on to the next.
so
Um,
how do you make it so personal?
um, you take the information that's in the database and you insert it into the letter. It's called a form letter. And the really smart form letters have what's called an if statement. I'm getting really nerdy here, but you asked. The if statement allows you to say, if I know that you live in Chattanooga, then you can say, I'm visiting clients in Chattanooga today. But if you don't have their city, then instead of inserting the city, say, I'm visiting clients near you today.
Mm.
So
The
it's an if and or an or kind of a statement that allows you to get real personalized. And there are certain tricks that you can use, but they're like one-offs. In other words, you can't do it all the time. If you DJ their wedding, you know what their wedding song is. So not on their anniversary, not on their birthday, not any other time except out of the blue. You send them a message that says, I just heard Islands in the Stream. And immediately it reminded me of you and your wedding.
Man, the more I listen to you guys and think about how much we're going to miss some of you guys when y'all step away or when you're no longer here to share this wealth of knowledge with the younger generation, and they're going to miss out. I know they have great up-and-coming young DJs that doing things in a whole different light, but some of the stuff that you guys can share with them is just invaluable, man. They really don't know what they're missing, by some of the stuff, by not, wait till you're 40. And that question that you asked earlier, Mike, if I'd have knew about Mobile Beat when I was 12, I'd have been there.
Wow.
I'm just saying, I
Well,
would have.
you that's rare.
I know, because I want to learn. I want to gobble up everything I can because I don't know everything. So I want to keep learning and getting better at my craft. So if there's somewhere for me to go to get it, I just find that amazing that you think the average age of people that starts to come to conferences is 40 years old. That means you've been in this game at least 10 to 15 years.
Well, and I would say this, if you look at it from this perspective, it depends on how you came into the industry.
Yeah.
If we want people to come, we have to change how we train the people that's coming into the business. Because if we train them in a certain way or teach them in a certain way, let me take away train, they'll be more open to going to conferences. They'll see the importance of it. But I look at myself, how I came into this. It was a hobby, it was something that I saw and I fell in love with. And I practiced, every day. And I got to a point to where I felt like I don't need nobody to tell me how to do this. But you don't realize that, learning how to DJ is one thing. Learning how to be a business person, totally different thing.
Totally.
And a lot of us, we're good DJs and we're horrible business people. And that's where the problem comes at. So if you're teaching someone, say in a school, and you're teaching them the key elements to being a successful DJ, and if business is one of those, I guarantee you they'll be purchasing their tickets to go to a show.
Wow.
And I hope that wasn't too much.
Are you kidding? Drop the mic, baby. You were right there.
Yeah, I mean, I just find it crazy, man. I don't know what to say sometimes.
You talk about young DJs, and I know we're at the top of the hour, but for what it's worth, I was blessed that I was allowed by other DJs in clubs to come in and spend for 10, 15 minutes and just to get the feel of it. If you're not letting young, upcoming, talent get the experience, then you're doing the industry a disservice.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't want to do a disservice to the industry.
No, we don't.
No, because my whole motto, Scott, if you don't know, if you haven't heard, is to leave the industry better than I found it. And I know a lot of you guys are doing it. It's not your motto, but you're doing it anyway. But I'm intentional about trying to help everybody I can. I wouldn't cover up my records. I wouldn't tell you where I got a song from. You know what I'm saying? I'm going back on you a little bit there. But I'm saying, I'm here to help and share, because if I give you everything I got, you still not going to use it how I use it. It's just going to help to improve you and make the whole industry better overall. But I'm going to get off my soapbox and let Mike ask his favorite question.
What? It's not. No, I'm listening because
No. I'm just saying.
That's true. Most so many of us are taught to be afraid.
Yeah,
We're scared DJs.
replacement.
Yes, we're scared.
Yeah.
I can't share this with you because you're going to clone me, and it's not possible. You know,
Right.
even like, you with all of the games that you have, you can give all of those games out and no one is going to be Scott, because Scott is Scott.
Or you, or
Yeah,
you.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
We're all
So,
different. We're gonna do it differently. We're
mhm,
gonna present it
Mhm.
differently. We're gonna approach it
You know,
differently.
if you were to do the triangle for the three things: DJ, business, and people skills.
I like that.
Yeah.
I was at a wedding, and I am full on in the moment. Dad is dancing with his daughter, and I'm putting the pictures on the big video screen, and I'm about to drop his voiceover into the moment where he's going to say something to his daughter, and it's got to be all timed out properly. And so I'm all here in my equipment in the zone and watching them dance and everything and putting this all together. And this woman comes over to me and she says, and I stop her and I say, the ladies' room is right over there. And then I go right back to my thing. And then they're dancing, and then this gentleman comes over and he says, it's Etta James. And then I go back to it. Later in the evening, he comes over to me and says, how did you know I wanted to know who sang the song? I said, I'm a DJ. I know these things.
Wow.
I
That was cool. I like that.
love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
you're right. You pretty much can predict what somebody's gonna say to you when they come
I
up to
love
you,
it.
either request or where is this, or who
Oh
is the
yeah.
artist. Sometimes you could get them right in your head, and you could be prepared.
Hey, and I love that when they be like, how, and I instead of saying what you said, I'll tell them that I'm in their head. I'm reading your I tell them I got a seat. I'm sitting right in your head.
Yeah, because a lot of times we are. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
Because our brain is always running to the next thing. We're always trying to be the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more question for you, Scott, and we always want to be respectful of time. So, what's the best piece of advice you've received in your career?
Never, ever stop learning.
Somehow I
Develop
can see that
a
from Scott.
lifelong love for learning.
Yeah. Hey, that's a mouthful because
That's me.
for me, I look at that, I interpret that like this. If you stop moving, you begin to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Crinkle
we
up.
stop learning, you know, you might as well turn around and start walking backwards.
Yeah. Wow. Man, Scott, as always, it's always good to hear you, listen to you, man. And like I say, I get tired just watching you. I mean, that guy, man. You keep a room energized. You're not gonna let anybody go to sleep, and they're gonna know what's going on. And like you say, you run. I know because you were doing the presentations, you were changing clothes, you were trying to get the music on,
I'm talking about
everything.
he
Yeah,
ran a tight ship.
you
He
need to.
went and changed and got in them shorts so quick. I'm like, damn.
He had them on under, but
You know,
you're
I
gonna
thought
have
he
to.
had some pullaways.
You have to train somebody to help you and do what you do one of these days,
Yeah.
or help somebody in that room start to come up and help out.
Yeah. We need to find out how to clone you, and we
Yeah.
need about 5 or 6 more Scotts running around.
you really don't.
Okay.
Everybody is
Yeah.
unique, and everybody brings
I
a
agree.
special talent to the room, and
I
that's what
agree.
makes us special.
I totally agree. And
But-
thanks for the
Yeah,
correction.
but there are some people that make every conference work, and you're one of those people. It's because we know you
Thank
come with
you.
the same energy no matter what. Every conference I go to, every room I know you're in, or every stage I know you're in charge of, it's going to be good music, and it's going to be a lot of energy.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we definitely want to give you your flowers, and we want to thank you for joining us this evening. For us, it seems like it's midday for you over there, but I know it's
Yeah, it's so bright.
yes, joining
You know
us.
what? Keep
DJs
up the
one
good
night.
work, gentlemen. Keep
Oh,
up the
thank
good
you.
work. Spread the word.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, guys,
you.
until next time, we thank you. We thank Scott. And if you're looking for someone to show you how to be a gamesman, you need to get with Scott.
Yeah, reach out to Scott.
Reach
Yeah,
out.
tell
to
them how they
Scott,
can find you, Scott, where they can connect with you.
please.
I'm gamemaster.biz.
Say that one more time. You broke up a little bit.
It's gamemaster.biz.
GameMaster.biz, and I'll post that in the show. But
Yes.
yeah, we'll put it on the link somewhere. But man, thank you again. Once again, go enjoy that warm weather in Scottsdale or
Yes. Yes.
what, Williams Air Force Base or somewhere
Yes.
out there
Don't
that I've
Wow.
been. All them places, Chandler. You know, I've been to all these places
Yes.
out there in good old Zona.
Yes. And make sure you stay moist. We don't want you to, flame on. I know it's
Prayerfully, we'll see you at WNBA if we don't see you anywhere else.
Excellent. Thank you again, gentlemen. I
All right,
appreciate
take
it.
care, Scott.